Hello my friends, and welcome back to another watercolor tutorial. Today's tutorial is inspired by sarahdandelioncray, and she has painted this beautiful, delicate, looks like an late evening country walk picture or painting. That's what I am describing it as. It's gorgeous. And so I'm going to try and replicate it. And I think she does videos, so if you just want to watch the original, you can go find her stuff, but I am going to try and replicate this without watching a video, if there even is a video. So I'm taking blue and I'm trying to color match it to hers, so I get why you guys want me to include color names. I don't know the color names of my own, even my own palette, because I threw the name card out, but I've said that a million times on this channel. So I've taped the borders of my piece of paper, and now I'm just, I took that blue and I applied it at the top, and we're gonna be painting on a gradient. So I just watered down, like I rinsed my brush and I just have water, and then I'm kind of extending that downwards, and we want to do that almost to the bottom of the page, but not quite. I'm going to take like a salmon pink. That is not salmon, but oh well. Let me see if I can pick up like a nude instead. There, it's a little bit better. Apply that like this, and then I kind of want to blend the blue into that. And then, so, okay, I don't like how this is not a very nice gradient up here, so I'm gonna have to adjust that in a moment. But this, I think I need to fade that into blue, like so. And I'm just gonna run it to the very end because we're gonna paint on top of this anyway. I'm gonna do another layer. I'm gonna add a little bit of navy blue to that color that I have. That's a little bit better. So, gosh, it is currently the beginning of May when I'm painting this. You are not going to see this until September. And man, I wonder what September is going to look like for me, because there have been a lot of things, developments in my life, I guess you could say. And at the moment, the future is not very clear. And so that includes my not my channel, but my ability to put out tutorials due to my physical location. So I am going to try my best. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what to do while I am babbling on. We're gonna let this dry. I think I want to make this pink part a little bit darker. But I don't want to make it too dark that it stands out way too much. Like that stands out way too much. So let's try to adjust. Adjust. Okay. Sure. I think that is acceptable. So yeah, let's let this dry, and then we can paint onwards. We are back. This is dry. I actually like how it dried. It's a very nice gradient now. I'm switching brushes. I'm using the one that I've been using by Grabby for most of my previous tutorials in the last few months in real time. like it, so that's what I'm using. So we are basically going to focus on like the bottom fifth of the painting. Sorry? Sorry? Oh. Apologies. Yes, we're gonna focus on the bottom fifth of the painting. I'm not even gonna bother trying to edit that out because currently where my life is at, I'm gonna forget to do that. So this is life, people. Yeah, we're focusing on the bottom fifth here, and it's gonna be like this country walk almost. So I'm gonna, you wanna pick a horizon point. So it's gonna be around here. You can even put a little dot there for yourself or not. If you're not feeling too confident, then don't. But that's gonna be the horizon, and it's basically going to be like a road. So on either side of the road is obviously going to be a green pasture. And I just took whatever green I had on my palette already, so I don't even know. And then I would say the other point where the road will start, I would say is kind of right in the center, if not a little bit to the left of the center. And that is where you're gonna draw your second line, like so. Hopefully it'll join nicely. If not, that's okay. And then I want the center to have like a little grassy point as well. Like that. And then this is all gonna be also green. So I'm gonna fill that in like so. I obviously don't want this to be like a harsh line here, so maybe work a little quicker than I did to avoid that. So I don't know where I left off before I said we have to let this dry. But yeah, there's a few things that are kind of uncertain. So my goal is to have the entire year pre-painted by the end of June. And if I continue on track with how I've been going, then that should be achievable. Otherwise, I'll have to come up with something, but I am sure that when things are a little bit more clear, I will explain what has been going on. But there's a lot of moving parts right now. And both my husband and I are very tired and very, yeah, there's just a lot going on, as I'm sure most people with babies and young children or have had children can relate to. But yeah, this is a bit of a more annoying situation that perhaps will have, I'm sure it'll have a happy ending. We just have to trust in the process. Shoot, I meant to paint mountains in the background here, and I got ahead of myself and just started painting the trees. Oh well, so I'm leaving a little gap between my tree and the horizon line because I want it to be misty, but I've kind of jumped the gun a little bit. Anyway, rinse my brush and then add that mistiness in between the trees. See, it worked here, but then I over blended on this side. Let me see if I can lift some of that off. And then also take brown and fill in that road over yonder. I'm making the edge a little bit darker. And then I'm going to water that down a tad. Whoops. And fill the rest of the road in. Something like that. So yeah, basically, just to circle back to my original story, you will hear about what's been going on probably in January of 2025. And just keep in mind, right now it's May, so it's just how all the timing is working out. But send your prayers. It'll all work out, I'm sure it will. I'm just going over this grassy patch once more because it dried to be a little bit lighter than I wanted it to be. So I'm just even adding in some brown now. Taking random colors greens and whatnot that I have. One thing I want to say is it's important to keep your problems relative. And that was advice from Chris's mom, my husband's mom. Because his family lives abroad in Europe, so he calls them often on weekends just to catch up and stuff. And he was telling her about like how overwhelmed we are with things that have been going on. And she was like, keep your problems relative, because some people have, like, what we're dealing with is kind of like a luxury problem. No, it's not a luxury problem. It's not a situation that anyone would want to be in. But what I mean by that is it's a luxury problem in comparison to, you know, like not being able to afford food or things like that. It's nothing like that. So keep your problems relative, because someone always has it worse than you. And not to like detract from your own issues, but if you think that way, like, oh, well, you know, if I had to toss my problem into a pile with everyone else's, I would probably take my problem back. Because other people's issues are far greater than my own. And so I try to keep that mindset. It's so hard to, though. Believe me, I'll be the first one to admit that it's really, really hard to do that when you're, you know, suffering in your own way. So, okay, I think I am quite content so far with how this is going. I do want to what do I want to do? I have, guys, like 20 minutes before I have to put my baby to bed. So we luckily don't have too much left in this painting. We just have to add these massive shrubs on the side, which proportionally don't really work, but whatever. It looks good, so we're gonna go with it. But should I let this dry, or should I just, no, I'm just gonna keep going and hope that the part I need to be dry is dry by the time we get there. So we're gonna paint this huge shrub on the side. I'm gonna start about, I would say like a little tiny tad above the center line. And so I think the effectiveness of this is really dependent on your brush stroke use here. And I would keep the amount of pigment on your brush to a minimum and angle your brush in such a way that it kind of drag daps. You dab, but you kind of drag your paintbrush. So if you, this is what I mean. I'm applying quite a bit of pressure, but it's coming out in a very tree-like pattern because I don't have very much pigment on my brush. Like, it's very dry in comparison to what I use to achieve things down here. So just keep that in mind when you're painting your bush. It'll make this process a whole lot less frustrating. And this is just the first layer. Like, we're gonna be painting another layer, maybe even more on top. And this is just gonna come down all the way beside the road here. And it's even gonna block part of the road. Like so. And so now I'm gonna take a bit of black, a bit of green, and kind of paint on another layer. Just try not to cover up the original layer too much. Like, you do want some original layer there, otherwise we're doing this for no reason. Picking up some more black to darken it even more. And I want to add some like shadowy features, especially at the bottom. I want this to be a lot darker. Something like that. And what else can we do here? Right about here, there's a bush of some sort. So I'm trying to do the same thing where I make my brush drier than I would usually, and dabbing to achieve my little bush. I was talking to some other moms that I know the other day, and they made me feel so validated. Because, man, the level of frustration that you experience when you're sleep deprived is really on another level. And they made me feel a lot less alone in my feelings, because I was not feeling like a very good mom. And they appear, at least from the outside, I'm sure they are as well when nobody's watching, but they appear to be very good mothers. So if they were saying that they experienced the same thing, then I think I'm doing all right. Okay, now for the last thing that I want to add, I'm going to add a fence. You know what I really don't like? this straight line situation happening here. Why do I do these things? Just let it go, Julia. Let it go. No, you can't let it go. You have to adjust everything. Say it with me, guys. Know when to stop. Julia. I don't know if that made any difference, but it's done. Okay, now I'm just gonna put a quick hair dryer to this so that we can paint our fence. Okay. I hope that's dry. We will find out if that is dry in just a hot second. So with my fence, the fence is going to start here, but in a moment. So I'm going to start my first peg here. We want to keep the tops of the pegs almost the same, height, and it's mostly the bottom that you're adjusting. And you want to, as you move, you make them closer and closer together and smaller. I definitely did not keep them at the same height, but I kind of was looking at the wrong thing. I mean, you can always raise the height of the other ones. And there we go. So recently I started going to sleep at 8 p.m. My daughter goes to sleep at 7:30. And I've been going at 8 and I fall asleep right away because I'm so tired. And you know, you'd think I'd be more well rested because I'm getting more sleep, but no, I just feel even more tired. So anyway, I'm adding my fence, completing my fence line there. I love adding fences to paintings. They really complete a painting for me. Like when you're missing something and you're wondering what to add, and obviously it's contextually relevant. Obviously you're not going to put a fence in a fence like this in a, you know, New York City. But usually in like a country type setting, it's very, very nice. It adds that missing piece to your painting. I just went back over it with a bit of black because it was looking a little faded to me. Oh, you know what would be nice as well, actually, is I'm gonna take white watercolor because mine is that opaque that I can do that. And just add like little highlights on each post. And I don't even know what that is supposed to be, whether it's like glare from the sun, but I really, really like how that looks. So much so that I'm gonna add it to my trees. Not sure that that makes any sense, but it works. So the other thing you can add is a moon, because because if this is dusk, then it would make sense to add a little moon. Typically, I just would do like a full circle because I'm really bad at the crescent moons. Yeah, see, that really does not, I don't like that at all. So what I'm gonna do is fill that in. There we go, that's better. Okay, I'm kind of tempted to add like a bird flying because the sky is looking a little bit bare. There's one bird. I wish I just stuck with the one bird because that just looks like scribbles. But, oh well, that's where we're at. I'm gonna stop because I do this in every single painting. So I'm gonna peel my tape off. And that is our finished product. I'm gonna just stick this tape because I rarely peel it off in one piece. I'm gonna just stick it on another clean piece of watercolor paper that I'm going to paint on next, but that's not relevant now. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe because it helps me with the algorithm, and also if you want to keep updated on future tutorials. Yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.